Art Journal, Acetate Clear Binding Hinges, making my own for my 2013 Creative Art Journaling Journal. It is about time to start thinking about binding my 2013 Creative Art Journal pages. So far, I've been keeping all my pages in a huge 3-inch ring binder with page protectors. I've been inspired, though, to try to create my very own clear binding hinges. I have not really seen this done, and so I tried to experiment with my own. In this video, I create a couple of sample pages. If this works, I plan to finish the rest of my journal pages the same way. I'll show you that when everything is done. Hi, in this video, I show you how to make some clear acetate hinge binders to bind in your journals if you don't want to use page protectors. So these are the two that I show you how to make in this video, and as you can see, I've measured and cut just some plain clear acetate right in here, and I will put them, this is the inclusion, and then say this is my journal. They will go into the binder. Say this was the inside of the binder. They will hinge like that, and then I will be able to open my pages like this and flip through. And I think that is going to work for me. This is in lieu of doing the page protectors so that you can actually have the journal pages out. And I think that I'm going to do the expanding journal system that Giselle Grenier uses on her. I'll give a link to that in her artplace.ca, where she shows how to make an expanding journal. Only I did not want to punch holes in my pages, and I did not want to put paper here. I did not want to use paper hinges, so I made hinges out of clear acetate, and that's what this video shows. But I wanted to show these to you. These are kind of the finished pieces. Actually, this goes like this. So I'll probably be stitching down here and punching some holes in here, and then bind it so they'll flip like this. So come watch. Hi, I'm in this group, creativeartjournaling.com. So every month since January of 2013, we have been swapping an art journal page. Now I have been keeping my pages in page protectors over the months. I make a page that I send out, and I make a copy of it for myself, and then I have the page sent to me by my swap partner, and we also have what we call signature pages. So I have accumulated quite a thickness here. We have 2 months left in the swap, November and December. And also I have some other extra work in here. This was an extra page that I did as an angel page for a person who did not receive their swap. This was a page that I did for the October repeat pattern swap. I don't know how much you can see of this. Maybe if I get this more in frame. But I am wanting to, and then I have some tags. We had a tag swap and another swap where we did an 8x10 journal page. So I am we've had some discussions on what is the best way to bind these. And I've been keeping mine in this big fat journal book. But listening to some of the other comments made by other members, I'm not sure that I want to continue to do that. I think I'm going to remove all the pages from here one at a time and do a journal such as Giselle Grenier does, and she has this on the creativeartjournaling.com site, and I'll give a link to it, of how she does an expanding art journal page. And I'm not going to describe it here. You'll have to go to it and see. But what I want to get at is, how am I going to bind these pages? Do I just want to poke holes in here and bind them like that? And I'm thinking no. I'm going to use this as an example. I'm going to show you what I'm thinking here. Let me close this book up because we don't need this anymore. We have an 8 by 10 sized page. This was an extra project done during the summer. It was called our trio swap. One person, the first person would start the page and just do the backgrounds. And this is the back of the page that I did as part of the background. Then I created in here you can see the backgrounds of the board, and you create your own theme. So I started it, I created my background on both sides, and my theme was Summer Cottage. And then I sent it to Giselle, and she added images, and then she sent it to the next person, who was Danita, and Danita put the lettering on it and then sent it back to me. And each person would do that, so each person would create a page and get a page back. But my dilemma is, how am I going to bind this with all these pretty textures in here? And then I have a smaller one that I want to put in there. This is not a creative art journaling, but I'm going to put it in the same expanding journal that I'm thinking that I'm going to make. And of course it's smaller, and I want to put it in as an inclusion. Actually, I did this part as a background for, these are, if you watch my video on it, I created background pages using Giselle's Session 5 Book of Backgrounds video. And 8 by 10 was here. These were 9 by 12, so I would trim here, and I had all these snippets left over from trimming that page, so I just wove them together. But I want to include that in my journal, so how am I going to do that? Other than putting them in page protectors. And so I came up with an idea here. I have 2 of these big rolls of acetate that I bought from Big Blick. And it comes on quite a large size roll, as you can tell. I forgot the exact dimensions. This looks like it's 2 feet maybe by 25 or 30 yards. I don't know. The label's on the other one, but I just cut off a narrow strip. So what I want to do, and I'm going to experiment with the smaller one first, but what I'm thinking that I can do is, I want to cut 8 by 10. And let's see if I have 2 8 by 10s. I'll let you know. Let me get out my paper cutter here. Now I thought about sewing this acetate to the page, and I could do that on some, but on some of these pages it's pretty thick. So I pretty much have, I could sew on some that I make copies of, and I may do that, but sewing on some of these other pages may not work so good. I don't know if I might have a pretty sharp needle to go through 2 thicknesses here. So, but right now what I want to do is trim and see if I can see if there's 20 inches. I may not have 20 inches here though. I want 2 10-inch pieces of acetate. Let's see if I have it. And I am not concerned about the width at this point. I just want to see what I have for length here. Do I have 10 inches here? Oh, look, I do. So how many yards that is by 10 inches by 20 inches. So I should have exactly 2 10-inch pieces. Now, what do I have here as far as width? I think I can get away with making them 4 inches. Let's trim this side. But I don't know if I want it 4 inches, because that would be... The thing about doing this is you're going to have to learn to keep the plastic clean. But I'm just experimenting here. So if I divide this in half, that would mean 2 inches on each side and 1 inch on the inside. And yeah, I think 4 inches is going to be what I'm going to go with. We'll go with that, and we'll see what we have for this one, if I can get 4. And then I can get rid of my paper cutter here. Let's see, this one looks a little rough. Come on, get in there. This one down to 4 exactly. I may not get it exactly at 4, depending on, you know, the next time I cut one, I may cut it differently so that I know I have 4 inches. But that's pretty good for now. That's good enough for experimenting with. Let's get this paper cutter out of the way. Now I'm going to get out my scoreboard and see how this acetate will score. And I use a shading stump. I don't know where I got it, but I use that to do my scoring with for now. It seems to work for me. And as I said, these may not be exactly 4 inches, but I'm going to go with it. In the center at 2 inches. I'm just going to make a score. I think I'm going to fold it this way. I think I'll fold it this way. And I do have my bone folder here. If I can't find my bone folder, I'll use my palette knife. Hopefully that won't ruin it. I just want to get a nice score on this acetate. Looks like I got some. Now I don't think I can fold it the other way. I think I pretty much settled it there. Let's try this piece. Let's score this while we're here. Am I going to fold it this way? That score did not go very deep. I wonder if I can do that again. I wonder. Boy, that acetate really picks up every little crumb. Every little crumb. So let's put this out of the way. Come on. Okay, let's see if I can just kind of clean this off a little. And fold it in half. This, for my purposes for this is just trial. Does not have to be perfect. Now my page is 10 inches. And my inclusion is 7 inches. So I'm going to have 3. So I want to, and I think I'm going to leave about 1 inch here. Now the question is, question I have is, how am I going to, what am I going to use? I don't want to use glue. I think that, and whatever I use, see, I'm going to have this. And I don't want to sew. So you know what that leaves me with at hand, on hand, and it will probably take quite a bit. I have some of this 1/4 inch score tape, and I'm going to see how bad the score tape looks on here. See if what kind of a mark it leaves. Because I'm just experimenting. So let's get brave and find the beginning of the score tape here and see what happens. Now would I want to put score tape on my original journal pages? I don't mind doing it on this, but do I really want to put score tape on this? I don't really want to sew it either. So we're going to experiment with this one first. And so I'm saying 1 inch in, and then I will not put score tape there. I may sew down here, you know, run my thread there, and then I would have this much to tuck into my expanding journal. And I'll put my punches in here or so. I haven't really determined that part yet. But let's see. I'm just going to pull this up. It doesn't look bad on there, but how will it look with the acetate? She asks. You know what I should probably do is get out my cutting measuring mat. Okay, so I'm going to take my cutting mat and put it here just so I can line up the so that would go right in there. Approximate. And then I'm going to go in approximate 1 inch, but I think I'm going to go in just a teeny bit more on this one to cover up the tape. So maybe I'll go in 3/4 of 1 inch. You can see it. I can see it right in here. So that's the score tape experiment. Now let's clean this off before I do much more. What would happen if I use some glossy accents? What is the best adhesive for acetate so that it won't show? Vellum tape would probably work. This is a clear adhesive. Clear. Do I want to do that with this? Let's try. I don't have too much faith in the glossy accents. I think it's going to show, but let's try it. Let's just put a thin line. And just for fun, let's smear it. One thing is that the pages already has a glossy background. Now, will it stick? It seems to be. Of course, I have to let it dry. Probably let it dry overnight. Now, this is a glossy. I've glazed this. Now, I can see a line, and I think you can see it too. See straight down there? No, I'm not going to do that. We'll just put that back, Mary. I'm going to leave that line there. I can see it with the light, but when I remove it, the light like that, I don't notice it as much. I notice the page protector. I notice it when I flip it. Now I'm playing with this. I should let this dry. I think I'm going to clip this. Not long enough. Paper clips. Will they be long enough? Yes. But I sure like this solution a lot better than, I think I like the glossy accents. I like this solution a lot better than putting a paper hinge. And then I can come with my sewing machine and stitch here, stitch across there, stitch down here, and stitch there. So we'll put this aside. Now, do I want to risk doing the same thing? I'm not going to do it with my score tape. I think I've ruled score tape out. So we'll just put that aside. Do I want to risk the same thing with this pretty page that I got from our Trio Swap? And of course, I do not have to put the glossy accents on the, but see, you can hardly tell where the, I think I'm going to risk it. Nothing ventured, nothing gained. The thing is, do I want to risk messing up my page here? Apparently I don't have a problem with that. Risk. Getting it as close to the 1-inch mark as possible. And gluing this down. If I have glossy accents on my cutting board now. Now I'm going to flip it. Let's clean this off real fast because we don't want it to get sticky. And let's clean this, just kind of give it a wipe before I go in there. And should be doing this on wax paper, but I didn't. Yes, I think I'm happy with that. Now this will have to dry. I'm going to leave it overnight. I'm going to use some more paper clips. There. Now, when these are dry, I'm going to stitch with my sewing machine down here, and if I feel like it, I may do some stitching along the edges here. But then I can bind these using Giselle Grenier's expanding tutorial technique. So when I get all that finished, I will come back and show you. I'll probably do some progress pages, some progress. It's going to be quite thick though, and I have not quite chosen a cover yet, but I do want to get this journal finished for maybe finish it over December vacation. We've got 2 months left to go, so I still got time to work in it. But I want it done before 2014 because we're starting a new journal in 2014. So thank you for watching, and I hope that this technique of making acetate hinges for journal pages at least gave you some ideas of how you might bind your own journal pages. Thank you for watching. I will see you on the next page.